There's a lot of masculine influencers today that say the same narrative. Why men are so soft today. Men are so soft because of this. Man, look at men today. Men aren't men today. But no one talks about the core reason why that's the case. Why men have become soft. It's not all of a sudden that the human animal over 50 years or 100 years is just a softer animal. But there's something happening in the society that is making men more soft. And I want to talk about what the core of it is. The way I've seen men go from soft and weak to becoming world changers, transformational men, powerful men, in a matter of months in the work that I do. The reason why so many men are soft, and no one talks about this, is because most men are chasing comfort, but not in the way that you think. Comfort as in financial security. Every major influencer today, every man that I know between the ages of 18 and 30, if you ask them what they are seeking, what they are striving for, what they're aiming for in their life, they all say the same thing: financial security. What does that mean? Financial security. I want to hurry up and make passive income. I want to hurry up and get to a place of financial security so I can finally feel safe. All the men today that I know and meet are all trying to be safe. And what does that imply from an energetic standpoint in the world? It implies that you are not safe. If you are looking for security, it implies that you believe you are not safe. And the problem with so many men, guys like Andrew Tate included, who are seeking financial security and safety, is that they're not actually aiming to become a better version of themselves by figuring out what their soul and what their heart needs and wants. And the reason why so many people give up in their life is because they're not actually going for something that they really care about, that really speaks to their soul, that really has purpose and mission behind it. And so many people say today, like, men today are so soft. Yes, but why are they soft? Because they live in a society that has gotten them to believe that the most important thing in their life is financial security. That the most important thing in their life is how much financial success they have. And the reason why I'm so passionate talking about this is when I sold my second company and when I got to financial security, at least for a couple years, I had this recognition and realization that this feels horrible. I spent 5 years, almost 6 years, working really hard to sell a business that I did care about and a passion and a purpose behind it that I did really care about, to get to this place one day where I can sit here on a beautiful beach in Brazil. I can rent yachts with my buddies. I can go on dates with beautiful women. And this was what I worked for. This grand thing to be able to sit around and have comfort. But that's what most men today are striving for. And the fuel is softness. It's to hurry up and get to a place where you don't have to do anything. So how do you change that? How do you actually operate from an energy, a real G energy, a powerful energy where you're not soft, where you can stay up all night working, where you can pick up your shoes and never have run or not run for fucking 6 months or a year and get up and run a marathon untrained? You find something that's more important than comfort. You find something that's more important than financial security. You find something that you're willing to die for. A purpose, a mission, a business, something that you believe so strongly that needs to be brought to the world, that you're willing to lose nights of sleep for, you're willing to lose parts of your health for, you're willing to lose the embarrassment and the cringeworthiness of being a guy posting videos online where people are going to think you're stupid. So the softness is not a byproduct of the person being a soft person. It's because the fuel they're operating from is a fuel that leads to softness. Financial security is a goal to get to a place where you can be soft and comfortable and safe. And that is why so many people don't ever talk about the root of the problem. The root of the problem is not that men all of a sudden became more soft or their moms made them more soft. It's that men back in the day used to have something that they wanted to bring into the world. It's a reason why we love movies like The Gladiator. It's a man who's chasing a principle. It's a man who's going for something that he really wants. It's a man that's willing to fight for something, not for the comfort, but because it's right and correct. All the greatest men that we know are these type of men. Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, William Wallace, the character from Braveheart, which is a real person. People who are willing to lay down their life for something bigger than them. When you have a goal, a mission, a calling that is bigger than you, it allows you to be bigger than yourself. It allows you to transcend the softness because you actually have something worth staying up all night for. And the way a lot of men today get there is they are in so much pain and they believe when I get money and when I get a little bit of status, everything in my life is going to change. So the pain allows them to disconnect from their feelings, from their heart, to be able to work and disconnect from their feelings, to be able to work very hard to finally have the success and overcome their softness. And so that's one way to do it. And a lot of those guys years down the road, when they become worth 10, 15, 20, 50, 100 million, they become my clients. And then what I have to do with them is I have to rework to connect them to their hearts because they disconnected from it for 10, 15, 20 years maybe. But there's a better way. The better way is you actually never disconnect from your heart. And instead, you find something in your life that is so much more important to you than anything else because you believe this idea or thing needs to be brought into the world because you believe it's going to help people more than just your bank account, which now allows you to call forward a bigger, stronger, more capable version of yourself into the world, making you a man who is less soft and a man who can stick to the things he says he's going to do because he has a mission greater than himself. And this is written about in psychology. Maslow's hierarchy of needs, the great pyramid that talks about the needs we have as humans and the motivation behind them. Something happened a year and a half before he died. Is he changed his pyramid. The top of it before was self-actualization. The highest need a human being can get to is finding and becoming our best self. But something happened in those years before he died. Martin Luther King was killed. JFK was shot in the neck and killed. And he started to notice that there's something greater. If my whole purpose as a human being is to actualize myself, why is there a man like Martin Luther King or JFK who's willing to die for a cause, who knows the risk but is willing to continue to do it? That's more than self-actualization. And so he changed his pyramid. And he realized that all the greatest minds in the world, all of the most impactful minds in the world, reached a state higher than self-actualization, self-transcendence, a state above themselves, a mission bigger than themselves, something that is worth doing that's way more important than themselves. This was the same as Jesus. This was the same as Buddha. This was the same as Mahatma Gandhi. This was the same as William Wallace. This was the same of the greatest warriors. Alexander the Great believed there was something greater than him, that he was on a mission from God. And so the softness that we see in modern day today is not because human beings all of a sudden over 50 years or 100 years or 200 years became soft. It's because the fuel and the motivation for why we do what we do is soft. It's financial security. It's I'm just going to get to 30K a month. Oh. And then once I get there, then I can finally relax. Or if we were living a couple hundred years ago, we'd be in a village and we'd be saying, let's go over that mountain. There's that tribe that I heard about that killed our great grandpa before. Let's go there. Let's kill them. Let's take their resources. Let's steal their women. Let's go become great. Let's go on adventure. And that wasn't an idea of security. That wasn't an idea of comfort. That was actually a bold move to take massive risk, to advance the needs of their entire tribe. Self-transcendence. It's bigger than just themselves. But most of us are keyboard warriors. What do I mean? We're sitting behind a computer all day hunting so we can fill our bank account a little bit more, so we can get a Rolex watch and a girl can think we're cool, or so we can post a cool picture in front of a Lamborghini. Lame. That's the softness that exists in society today, is that society has programmed men to chase an end goal of financial security and comfort rather than an end goal of deep self-understanding and becoming a transcendent version of ourselves. So the next time you hear someone say, men today are so weak, shaming you, shaming other men that are born around this time, understand why that is. It's not because the human animal has become more weak. It's because the motivation, the motives, the reason why we do what we do is weak. And that's been programmed in us. I grew up with that. I didn't know where that came from. My father grew up with that. He didn't know where that came from. It took me selling my second company and realizing as I sat on a beach for 2 months in Brazil, eating at fancy restaurants and going on yachts, that I'm made for way more than this. I'm made for a life of purpose. I'm made to push my edge. I'm made to go out and live an incredible existence, not just for myself, but to help other people do it too. To help other people overcome themselves, become themselves, and live in a world that does greater as men for people than just ourselves. To help the world become a better place. That's why we're here. So the next time you catch yourself thinking, I'm just going to get to financial security and comfort. And then once I'm relaxed, then I will, don't. Save the 5 years, save the 10 years, save the 15 years. Look around the world right now and say, what do I passionately believe? What are the problems that I passionately see in the world right now? And how can I actually change those? And is that problem important enough that if I ended up dying in the pursuit of it, or if I ended up becoming hurt in the pursuit of it, or if I got to the end of my life and I said, I finally was able to do this, that I can look in the mirror with pride, and that my grandchildren can look at me with pride for what I built, what I did, and the struggle I went through, then that's probably the thing you should do. As always, guys, if you're not on the path, get on your path. What do I mean by that? Get on the path into yourself. I know that's my program. Some guys understand that. Some guys go to that. I'm not talking about that. It can be done with me. It can be done without me, but it's really about understanding how do you make the main aim and main focus of your life as entering and going into yourself. Because all the greatest minds have always said that when a man conquers himself, he conquers the world. From Lao Tzu to Aristotle to Plato to Zeno, who taught both of them, when a man conquers the world, he conquers himself. That should be your focus as a young man. How do I conquer myself? How do I overcome my fears? How do I step into greater courage? How to become a better version of myself, a more powerful version of myself? Not how do I make an extra 30K a month drop shipping shit.